Hello everyone. I was asked to do a tutorial on how to remove your hair unit and replace it yourself in between installations from your barber or hairdresser or whomever it is that does it for you when you have a brand new unit installed. My unit is about 3 weeks old post installation. It's a wave unit and it was done by Mr. Pringles in Columbus, Ohio. He's my barber that I go to style me. Normally I have a fade and this fade is about 3 weeks old, so it's kind of growing in now, but it's a wave unit and I'm gonna post pictures of what it looked like originally. I might have to do a little home touch up just to give it a little freshness, but I just wanted to start this tutorial out with that information. Also wanting to let you know this is my first, so bear with me. I will be stopping and starting the camera just because you don't need to see the long, drawn out waiting period between me removing it and installing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it off and then let you see what it looks like with the glue and what glue is on my head. And then I will show you how to remove the glue from my scalp as well as the glue from the unit. It came off pretty easy because this glue has now broken down and it is pretty much kind of just gunky. This is what's left of the glue on the unit. And then this is what my scalp looks like. So I'm going to spray my scalp with a product that most people should have when they wear units. It's always good to have this. It's like a glue remover and it's a breakdown type solvent. It has sort of a citrus scent. It's called C22 solvent and it's by Walker Tape. It's probably showing backwards here on the camera, but hopefully you can see that C22 solvent. And you just spray a little bit on the unit and rub it in. I'm wearing gloves, so I just rub it on the unit to kind of like break down the glue. Once I do that, I'll let it sit for about a minute or so. And I'm also gonna spray my scalp. So it helps also to break down the glue. You don't really need much because it's very kind of oily and it runs. So I just spray a little. And rub it in. Even spray it on any glue that may have stuck to my growing hair. Rub it in and let it sit for a couple of minutes. And then once I do that, then I'm gonna take a cloth and wipe it off, and it comes off pretty easily once I let it sit for a minute. So I'm gonna stop the camera just to kill time, and when I come back, I'm gonna show you the next step in actually watching me take the glue from my scalp and as well as from the unit. Be back shortly. I'm back, part 2. Just so you can tell, the majority of the glue was not left on my scalp. There's a little in my hair, but not much. The majority of the glue is on the unit. So I'm going to, and by the way, this is a wave unit, just so you can see that it's waves. Okay. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just start wiping my scalp with my cloth. I usually have some cheap cloths that I'm gonna toss anyway. So get them from the dollar store or whatever, because what happens is when you start wiping this stuff off, it starts staining the cloth and it's not really useful anymore. So I'm just gonna start wiping. Just so you can see This is what the cloth looks like. That's a combination of dead skin, oil, and a little glue. In instances where you have very little glue, then it's pretty, the cleanup and the glue removal is pretty simple. Depending upon how much glue sticks to your scalp, depends on the intensity of glue removal and the degree of how long it takes. In some instances, there might be glue stuck in my hair. And so what I normally do, instead of putting more of the C22 in, I'll take some alcohol and I'll just spray a little bit on the hair. The alcohol is also another solvent or glue breakdown agent. So I do that, comb it through my existing hair, and the alcohol causes the remaining glue to stick to the comb. Not very much, as I was saying. But you see the particles there, that's glue. And I'll just take a tissue or I'll just wipe the residue off on the cloth that I'm using and continue. And a trick to keep the glue from, make it easier to come off. Spray your comb a couple of times, some alcohol, and that kind of also helps the glue to come right out of your hair. And pretty much, in this instance, this was a relatively easy cleanup. So I have growing hair on my scalp. So what I'll do is I'll wash my hair, clean my scalp really well. Depending upon how sensitive your scalp is or whatever, I usually like to use like a charcoal cleanser or something just to get the pores clean. You know, your hair's been covered for a while, your scalp's been covered for a while, so you want your pores to be deep cleaned. Take a good charcoal cleanser, get it at Walmart, CVS, or whatever, dollar store if you can find it. Clean your scalp really well so it can pull out all the impurities and gunk from the glue. Wash your hair with a good shampoo, condition it, and then let your scalp rest. I normally do this over a 24-hour period. I don't reapply immediately. I usually like to take a weekend or a day that I'm not going anywhere. If I do decide to go out for shopping or whatever, of course I'll wear a cap or whatever. But in the meantime, my scalp is getting some rest and air from not being covered. So that's part 2. I'll be back in a few minutes. I wanted to come back just to give you a status of the unit as far as cleaning is concerned. I'm about almost 3/4 done. As you can see, when you start wiping in one direction, when you start getting to your edges, you usually have to wipe in the direction of your edges, this way for the most part, just to get it off. And you'll see glue residue, glue particles around the edge. What I normally do is you continue to wipe with the cloth to get as much of the glue off as you can. Then you'll take a fine-tooth comb, like I use here, spray the hair and the glue with some alcohol, and then just comb it right out. The alcohol won't hurt the unit, but I just want to remind you, do not use anything other than a cloth to get the glue off the unit. Don't use a brush, don't use anything rough, just a cloth. Okay? Be back soon. Hi everyone. This is a completely clean unit as far as the base of the unit goes. There's very little glue left. What I normally do is, when it's down like this, I'll spray some alcohol on the unit, as also on the cloth that I'm using. I spray it down really well, wipe off all the remaining residue. Then I spray the edges of the hair that you see the glue sticking on. You see glue particles. I'll take that And then I'll take my fine-tooth comb. Somewhere I placed the comb. Give me 1 second. There it is. Take my fine-tooth comb right here, and I just comb through the edges with the fine-tooth comb to remove the remaining glue. When I come back, I'm going to show you how I wash it and condition it. Talk to you soon. I'm back with washing and conditioning the unit. Basically, I just sit it in some warm water, not hot water, with my shampoo. I use a good conditioning shampoo. I use Scotch Porter hair wash. It's a pretty decent product. It smells great. Maximum softness and shine. Helps control flakage, for growing hair that is, and powerful, healthy scalp botanicals. I also wash my own hair with this. This is actual human hair, so it's a really good unit. And basically, I don't do too much scrubbing or rubbing rough on it. It will not impact the wave pattern. It's just wet. But I'll do this for a while, and I just let it sit just because I kind of want the unit to relax, because there was a lot of product put in the unit when I first had it installed. And so it kind of makes this, it doesn't make the unit base stiff, but you know, sometimes it takes shape of the hair or what have you. So it just kind of softens it up. So when it's time to put it back on, then it'll fit really nicely. I'm just gonna let this sit for a while, and then I'm gonna come back and condition. Alrighty, thanks, bye. Now I'm conditioning the unit. I have some leave-in conditioner that I put on. I have one of those wig heads that you use to store wigs or style wigs. It's a great way for me to handle the unit without having it in my hand, because then I have an opportunity to brush it. So I'll brush it, follow the wave pattern that's already been established. This is the front of the unit, by the way. So this is where it's gonna go on when it gets placed back on my head. And basically, just brushing the product. Make sure the hair gets saturated well. Comb it through with my wave brush. Pretty much that's it. What I'll do is, I'll put a wave cap on this, and then I'll apply heat to it because this unit is wet from being shampooed. And I'll just blow dry it with my dryer. And the wave cap will also kind of keep the waves formed and make them even flatter. So when I'm ready to put it back on my head, it will sit really nicely on my head. And that's pretty much it. Waves are really nice, as you can see. The unit is clean. See some of the product that's getting on the wig head, but that's okay. That'll dry out. And then I'm gonna just put the cap on, put some heat to it a little bit just to air dry it. And then I'll just let it sit overnight. And then I'll get up in the morning, wash my hair, dry it, brush my waves in, put the cap on with the unit, and let it sit. And that's it. Hope this was helpful. And you guys have a great day.